Keelan's our son, he's 25, and he was diagnosed with what they call high functioning autism, really since he was about six or seven. At one point it was referred to as Asperger's syndrome, but I think now it's just on the spectrum, autism spectrum. He suffered quite a bit through schooling, as a lot of people in the spectrum do, particularly with bullying. So he suffered quite a bit of PTSD through that, his experiences at school. So we had a lot of difficulties in managing some of those concerns he had and the issues he had. But yeah, so he's predominantly is autistic, and he lives at home with my wife and I, mum and dad. Prevail have come on board recently under the support coordination that we've got. We've been with Prevail for, I guess, about a year, maybe a little bit longer, and they've been a great help to us. So it's difficult, I guess, to put a figure on how I would rate Prevail. It's not about numbers. It's just about emotionally how much we feel that Prevail have supported us over the year or so we've been with them. But they've just been a tremendous help. I've spoken to the support workers, and I've spoken to the management from Prevail, and the message that we keep on saying to them is that we can't go on this journey without them. The best part about Prevail for us is having some support workers that are just there to support our son and to get him out and to get him interacting, engaging, doing things. Without Prevail getting Keelan involved in different activities or engagement, he would suffer more and more. He wouldn't leave the house. They have been just tremendous, but it's not just about getting him out and getting him involved and doing activities and doing things with him. It's just the way that they do that. It's just the way that they treat him as a friend, as a mate. But it also, the knock-on effect is it's helped my wife and I, because we know that our son's getting extra support. He's getting out, he's doing things. It's making him more positive. It's giving him that sense of purpose. It's making him then happier at home and more contented. So that's taking that pressure off of us. So they have just been fantastic. I think communications is one of the most important things, and for us, we need to know that what's planned for Keelan, so we can prepare Keelan. I think, as a lot of people know, someone with with autism needs some consistency, and they need a bit of pre-planning and know what's going on, and a bit of consistency. So that, to me, that communications is so important, that they let us know what's going on, and text messages and a reminder the day before. But we've also tried to not take control of Keelan's life. We want the communication not just with us, so that we can kind of prepare, but the communications with Keelan as well. So we've always encouraged that Prevail contact Keelan as well, or the support worker the day beforehand just reminds Keelan that he's got something on. We found communications has been really good and really helpful. The best part is the relationship building with his support workers, and the other aspect of it is providing great communications and letting us know what's going on. So we found that really helpful. When I talk about being professional, yes, I think Prevail come across extremely professional, but it doesn't feel like a professional relationship. It doesn't feel like a business relationship. It feels like they're just almost part of the family. They feel like that they are there with us on this journey. So they're always reaching out to us and always asking our advice about what we think is beneficial for Keelan. They are very proactive in trying to come up with new ideas, things that are going to engage Keelan, that are going to help us, that are going to help him, that are always thinking about, can we do this, or is this too much for Keelan now? That communication, that working with us, is so professional, it is so beneficial, and it's so helpful. Not, I guess, for Prevail, but it certainly is for us, and it makes us feel like we're part of that. And of course, the more that support workers and the coordinators work with Keelan, they get to know us and Keelan, they get to know his needs. And this is such a huge part for us, for Keelan, for anyone in this field, but just to know the individual. We've got a couple of support workers that work regularly with Keelan now, and we see they have their knowledge of Keelan and what he needs and what's helpful for him. That takes pressure off of us as a parent, that we don't need to keep explaining, well, he's like this, he's like that. And that real in-depth knowledge, especially having support workers that have been there for a while, just that knowledge of What makes Keelan tick, the days that he's not so good, how to manage days where it's going to take a bit of time to get him energised and get him out and about. Understanding his needs, understanding what is going to help Keelan in the long term. They will talk to us and they'll get ideas and they'll even talk to Keelan and say, well, what do you want, buddy? How can we help you? And there's no pressure. It's done slowly and progressively, and they've really got to know Keelan, and that's helped us, all of us, tremendously. I think one of the things that we found with Prevail is their understanding. You'd expect that a support organisation will be understanding of someone with disabilities or their clients' needs. And again, the pressure that's come off of us is that Prevail are so flexible. There are days where our son isn't in a great space or isn't prepared, or for whatever reason doesn't want to engage or doesn't want to go out and do the things that are being planned. I'm often feeling really guilty, and I often apologise to Prevail and say, oh gosh, I hope I haven't wasted your time, or fuel, or they just put us at this tremendous ease that nothing is a problem. They understand that there's someone with a mental health problem or disability. Someone's never going to be perfectly in the right place or at the right time and all the time. So they're so flexible. They understand if Keelan doesn't want to do something, and that constant reassurance that it's no bother to Prevail if they have to cancel something or change something. If Keelan's not ready, they'll readjust. They'll do something for the following day, or they'll change the times. It's just brilliant. It just feels like there's no pressure on us. There's no guilt, but we're so appreciative. But they make you feel at ease. They make you feel that there's no problems, and of course that must clearly take pressure off of Keelan as well. Our son, sometimes we'll have a support worker in the house, happy, relaxed, waiting until Keelan's ready, and that could be often at half an hour, could even be an hour. And when Keelan's ready to go out, off they go. And so it feels very relaxed. It feels very, just stress-free. They're great. Getting access to Prevail is just seamless. They're so accessible. I can talk to any of the coordinators, managers. I can talk directly to the support workers. I get texts from them. They get texts and messages from me. We keep in touch. Everything's so accessible. And as far as the services are concerned, both my wife and I are engaged with them. They talk about the services that are available. They ask us, will that suit Keelan, and they'll sort of tailor that to his needs, and they'll talk to us about all those things. So they provide the services, and they often come up with ideas that we haven't thought about, and we then go, hey, wow, that would be great, we haven't thought about that. So we don't know all the services that are available, but we know that if there's something that they can do, they will do it, they'll explore it, they'll offer it to us, they'll talk it through with us. And what has been so amazing for us is that we've been on the phone to them at 10 o'clock at night. We've had staff within Prevail that have said, call us at any time, 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning. And that meant such a lot to us. It feels like that they are so 100% committed to supporting us. It just feels like with any client, if you like. As far as how our son has been progressing, it's difficult to tell what things have made a difference, but certainly since Prevail have come on board, he has definitely in the last year, 18 months, he's definitely been much more relaxed and comfortable. Before Prevail came along and before we had the level of supports and different support workers getting involved in Keelan's life, it felt that I get the sense that there was a lot of doom and gloom, and that he was just in the house, and he had no real sense of purpose and no real things happening in his life. And that made him probably ruminate on things that have upset him and distressed him in the past, and that's causing a lot of stress and anxiety and sleeplessness. And of course, the knock-on effect on our stress and anxiety was high. So we've seen a massive improvement in Keelan, and there's no doubt about it. A lot of it is because he's got things happening, and Prevail have gone just out of their way to talk to Keelan about, well, there's an event that you were talking about, Keelan, perhaps we can go with you, perhaps we can get involved in this event with you. Have you thought about doing this? And getting Keelan to actually be instrumental in his own needs and his own interests. And Keelan's often done things that we haven't seen for a while. He's the one that's recommended to them, what about this, what about that? So It's got Keelan out, which I think has just got him looking forward to doing things. And if you're looking forward to doing things and you're involved in things, your life is more fulfilled. So he feels more fulfilled. So that there's no doubt about it that Keelan has improved. It made our lives completely, it's not completely changed, but it's made it so much happier for all of us. Yeah, it's just been great improvements, and a lot of it is down to Prevail just being there for us and helping out. If I was to try and think of, are there any improvements that Prevail could offer us, it's really hard. I guess inexperience in getting the support we've had, we've only really started getting the support over the last 2 to 3 years, and Prevail have only come on board about the last year. So we've been very, very lucky. We changed support coordinators, and the support coordinator recommended Prevail to us. So she's worked very well with them. And so for us, it's difficult to gauge other organisations. But wow, would I recommend Prevail? 100%. They are just there for us, my wife and I, and Keelan, our son. So they treat us all as if we all have equal needs. As I've said to them all, particularly as a typical bloke, you want to solve the problems, and my wife's always saying, you can't always solve the problem. Going through what we've been through, my son's difficulties and his disabilities, I wish I could solve it, but I can't. I can't change it, but can we make things better? Well, yeah, we can, but I just don't feel we've ever been able to have the chance to change things for the better for our son and for my wife and I without Prevail. And the biggest thing that I've got out of this is that, you can get through the crisis, you can get through the other side if you do it with someone else. And it felt like we were very alone, we were very isolated, and we didn't know who to turn to. And having Prevail on board, it just feels like someone is carrying you across the line. My wife and I both get quite emotional when we think about it, but it's having somebody there to carry us along the line and to take us on that journey, and to be there at any time of day. They've always said they'd be there. So would I recommend Prevail? 100%. They have been awesome.